Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Mindshare podcast. This show is sponsored by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems, a two-time international award-winning marketing suite for sales professionals. REM, a real estate magazine, Canada's premier monthly magazine for real estate professionals. OREA, the Ontario Real Estate Association, Canada's largest provincial real estate association, and the ORCF, the Ontario Realtors Care Foundation, who enables and empowers realtors across Ontario to fundraise in support of shelter-related causes in the communities in which they live and work. You can learn more about all of our sponsors by visiting my site, mindshare101.com. And hey, while you're there, be sure to check out the details of our upcoming Mindshare Mastermind happening in Toronto on September 16th to the 18th. We have got a speaker lineup which is absolutely loaded. Now, this is not your run-of-the-mill, typical, same old lineup you see at every conference. We're going deep on this one. We're going to be bringing you voices that will motivate you. They will inspire you. They will help provoke your creative spark to elevate you to your next level of success. Over the course of 2.5 days, we're going to load you up with actionable value, leaving you wanting more. The discussion, the problem-solving, the collaboration, it is going to be powerful. You've been hearing me talk about it. You might have already reserved your spot for it, or maybe you've been considering it. Spots are limited, so do not wait. Book your ticket and tell your closest colleague to book theirs too. Check out the website for details, mindshare101.com. Like I said, this mastermind is going to be powerful. It's one of those you will thank yourself later moments that you're going to have in life. Today's episode is number 291. He is the driving force behind the Starke Group, a thriving real estate venture based in the heart of Toronto. His overarching philosophy on real estate includes leadership, community building, accountability, and it's charity. And he guides his team to focus on building relationships rather than one-off transactions. Before attending university, he spent 3 years in the Army Reserves after 9/11, feeling the importance of serving after such a catastrophic event. He then went on to study law at Carleton University in Ottawa. Together, he and his team have amassed more than 200 five-star Google reviews, a testament to their unwavering commitment to client satisfaction. While real estate is his domain, his altruistic spirit extends beyond professional pursuits. He takes great pride in giving back, actively volunteering with Junior Achievement Central Ontario. Here, he imparts valuable lessons on entrepreneurship, finance, and business to high school students, inspiring the leaders of tomorrow. Joining me on this episode of the Mindshare podcast is president at the Starke Group, Brett Starke. Brett, welcome to the Mindshare podcast.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Good to have you here. So tell us, man, first off, today is all about helping everybody dominate. So we've titled this one, How to Dominate in Real Estate. Thought this might give us a whole sort of a jumping off point on a number of different, topics of conversation today. But first, how long have you been in the real estate game for? I mean, you're not an old dude.
So, I've been in the real estate game for some time. I was actually, I started in Ottawa.
Okay.
And I started in the game in 2011. And I think I officially got licensed in 2015. Speaking of Ottawa, loved hearing you on the stage at the OREA conference there with that radio voice.
Appreciate you, brother.
Nice to be introduced with that. I love it.
That's cool.
No, I've been doing it licensed since 2015.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So you've been but started in Ottawa. That's an interesting one. So you started over there, and then what? Came to Toronto, obviously, restarting things at that time? Or what?
Yeah, exactly. So, I was having a lot of success in the Ottawa market and I was enjoying myself. I just wanted to do things a bit differently. Ottawa's real estate is very stable. It makes a lot of sense. It's logical, but I wanted to build a different kind of brand. And I don't think the brand that I was searching for, I don't think the Ottawa community would have gotten behind it like the Toronto community did.
Gotcha. Interesting, man. Interesting. Okay, cool. So we're going to dive further into that because that's one piece I didn't know that you started in Ottawa, moved to Toronto. I think that's an interesting one. We had another guest last week, Jenna Rose Ferguson, who actually started, moved from New Brunswick to Toronto. And it was this kind of the jumping off point at the top of the conversation was, how did you get off and start your business brand new, but without knowing people? But we'll get there. Very big, important question I have then is, are you a Sens fan or a Leafs fan?
That's a great question. And I have to say that my heart still remains with the Sens.
Ooh,
And I know the Toronto people aren't going to be happy with that, but just
great having you on the show today. Thanks, pal. No, just playing.
You know, I was lucky enough that a lot of my friends played for the Sens organization.
Oh, really?
So I got to be deeper in that community than I've been with other teams. So it was really cool to kind of see it from the inside out rather than just as a fan.
Yeah. No, for sure, man. You know what? I think anybody's got an opportunity to be in some sort of, professional arena in that case. There's so many different learning moments, that even sports will bring you. But again, topic for another day, because I could start going down that road. I will say once again, go Leafs, go. Dude, you were on the Amazon show called Luxe Listing.
We were,
and we had your boy Peter Torkan on the show recently. How was working with Peter?
Oh, let's talk about Peter. That's what Peter wants us to do on this show, is talk about Peter. Here's what it's like working with Peter. And I say this, from a great spot, because him and I are good buddies. But if he's in the room, he wants everyone to know he's in the room. That's working with Peter.
Oh, I gotcha. So how about this? You know what? He was on the show recently as well. Great guy's got he seems like he's got a very good spirit about him, positive attitude, which is amazing. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's not the easiest thing to have, especially when markets are difficult or, just come the day-to-days of life. Mm-hmm. What do you feel, though, or what was it? Because you talk about the brand moving from Ottawa to Toronto and being able to establish that brand. Mm-hmm. Coming to the show, like, again, for anybody that hasn't watched, it's on Amazon. It's called Luxe Listing. What do you think led you to being asked to be a part of that?
That's a great question. And what I think asked us to being part of it, and I don't want to sound like that guy who comes on a podcast and starts talking about visualizing goals and this and that.
Dude, this is the podcast. You could talk about all of that.
But we wrote it down as a team goal. I remember we were at a Richard Robbins conference in November one year, and Rich has the music on, and we're working on little workbooks. And me and my assistant at the time, who's now my senior director of sales, Caitlin, we wrote it like, let's get our own TV show. And then we started visualizing our goals and writing them down on a weekly basis. And we said, we want to be Canada's most famous real estate agents, because if we're Canada's most famous agents, then we have the biggest microphone of which we can do the most good for the community, or we could sell the most, or somewhere in between. Mm-hmm. And we just kept pressing that. We started acting like we had a TV show. We started hiring like we had a TV show. We started dressing like we had a TV show. We started essentially pretending that our life was a real estate TV show. And then all of a sudden got this email from Amazon Studios. And at the time, I didn't even know if it was real or fake. I was like, okay, are they going to ask me for my SIN number or my credit card? Like, how does this work? And it turned out, of course, to be real. And they were saying they were looking for someone exactly like us, with that new energy, a bit of an edge to their marketing, someone who's not afraid to just go a little bit beyond the standard, hi, we sell real estate, and make it more lifestyle based. Mm-hmm. So one of my rules is, like, if you join my team, the first thing I say in your first meeting is, rule number one on this team is don't talk about real estate. And real estate's going to sell itself. If you like a house, you're going to buy it. Rather, it doesn't matter if I'm selling it or not. The real estate sells itself. Our job is to connect with the humans. So that's what we've really focused on.
Yeah, love that. Love that, man. You know what, dude? This is and look, for everybody tuned in, again, you hear what he just said. First, he started by going, I don't want to be that guy who talks about goals and visions and writing it down. But I got to tell you, man, that I truly do believe that is, and that was, by the way, my comment to Peter having, good spirit, positive attitude, all jokes aside about everything. I do believe in all of that.
It works like right behind the screen.
Yep.
You can't see it. I have my major goals written down. I have my business plan month by month of exactly what I'm going to do. I call it my touch point calendar.
Yep. Love that.
And then I talk about something called the 5 annuities, which are 5 things that always pay me in real estate. I call it geofarming, demographic farming, agent referrals, sphere of influence, and online. I have exactly what I'm doing with that. So I write it down and I visit it every week with the team. And in our team meetings, we actually say out loud our team goals and our team pillars so that it's real. It's not just something that we do once a year as a visualization activity. It's something that we do on a weekly basis every Monday that we come back to.
Dude, you have to do it regularly, though. If you do it once a year, it's a fleeting thought.
It doesn't work. And you want to talk about Peter. Peter takes it one step further. I was on set with Peter one day, and I'm talking to Paige. I'm like, where's Peter? And then we find him just laying down. And I'm like, is he sleeping? She goes, no, he meditates during the day. He's visualizing what's going to happen this afternoon. Yep. Right? And when you're around people that start doing this, like I think a lot of people think it's weird, but when you get to a certain level, it almost becomes weird not to do it.
That's okay. So do you read?
I read. I think reading is my big secret. I think.
Okay.
Cheat code to life.
How many books a day, a week, a month? What do you like? Have you got
so I'm about a one book every 4 to 6 weeks guy. If it's good, I'll get it finished right away. Cool. I like to do one a month, but I think I'm just behind one a month. When I was younger, I was probably doing 2 or 3 a month. Okay,
that's where I'm at. I'm a two a month guy. Okay, that's the goal. Sometimes it's 3. Sometimes if it's like a ridiculously long book, it can be 1. Regardless of the goal is 2.
Yeah.
Now I've said this to many people before, and I love the fact that you brought this up today because again, the one thing, and just the way you just said it, it sounds weird, and I say it from the stage all the time. I'm like, okay, roll your eyes, woo woo, Dave, yeah. Okay, look, when you write it down, it comes to life. And the one thing I've noticed through my reading. One of the big messages I've got from anybody I've listened to in terms of authors and whatnot, visualize, set goals, pay attention to them, manifest them coming to life, and they come to life.
It's true.
And it's amazing how the best of the best will tell you that. And then people who don't do it.
True in real estate and business is true.
No, totally.
It's true in your personal life. It's true in your fitness life. It's just true. Right?
That's
for example, I always wanted to have a husky when I was a kid. I watched Iron Will when I was super young. I was like, I want to have a husky. Now I have a husky because I visualized it.
Does he shed like crazy though? Yeah, that's why I love huskies. I don't want one as they shed.
No black is allowed in my house.
Yeah. There's the trick, right?
Yeah.
So here's a big question then. What do you do if your mindset if your goals aren't being hit? So you're looking at the goals, you're focused on them on a regular basis, and you're just, for some reason, still not achieving that thing, that one. What do you do to stay motivated for yourself and not wean off of it and go, I guess I'm not going to get there?
Yeah. So it's important to have more than just financial goals. So on my team, the financial goal kind of takes the back seat because we're not saying, hey, make this number to stay on the team. Mm-hmm. What we count is our number of appointments, right? We're not counting the outcome of those appointments. We're counting the number of appointments.
It's the actions to get to the deal.
That's right. So my top team award, which I handed out yesterday or 2 days ago, is called the Golden Lockbox. And the Golden Lockbox is given to a team member every quarter who has exemplary dedication to the craft of leaders or to the craft of real estate and leadership in the community, not top sales. Mm-hmm. Because I think if you focus on sales, if people come for money, they're going to leave for money. If you're focusing on money, your whole life is money-based. But if you're focusing on how to get things, how to improve yourself, how to improve the community, the money is a byproduct of that. So I remember a year and a half ago when the market started changing, I was like, this is a great time for you guys on the team to learn a new skill set, to join a new team, to, hang out with your family that you haven't seen in a while. It doesn't always have to be about money. And that's the way that we do it.
Love that, bro.
The money part is just a small part of our business. And I see this thing here. I'll show you what one of our daily things looks like here. If I can pull one up. 1 second. Oh my God. That's right. So on my team here, we do something called the 4-hour transformation shortcut. So what I'm asking for people to do on this team, nothing here is money related. So I'm saying have 5 new conversations, have 5 follow-up calls, do 5 texts, send 5 videos, do 15 minutes of personal development, ask for a review or a referral, write down your major goals, and spend an hour of time on personal care, and then do a daily gesture of kindness and write it down.
Would you call those like the non-negotiables for everybody on the team?
Exactly.
Love that.
And if you focus on those, the goals will magically happen. If you focus on helping other people meet their goals, the byproduct of that is your goals being met. It's that simple.
You know, we talk about this where everybody wants more time later in life. It's all about time. Yet everybody talks about wanting more money right now. You just said it. It's not even about focus on the money. It's about what we're doing with our time. Do the right things with your time. You will get to the place that you want to get to, whether that includes money or it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. And I also think that people hyper focus on money. Like, for example, I have a nice car, but it's 6 years old.
Yeah.
Right. I have a nice condo, but it was built in 2008.
Right.
Right. If I renovated my kitchen, is it going to make me any happier? I don't think so.
Right.
But if I took that exact same amount of money and I took my best friend or my partner or a group of us and went and had some amazing life experience, would that make me happier?
Of course.
For sure. So that's what I'm focusing on, right? I'm not a flashy guy. I don't need to have the best of this and the best of that. And I think when people get money focused, for example, like if you get your first Rolex, that's super cool. You remember how it feels. But you get your second one and nothing happens, right? Mm-hmm. It's just like these milestones that people celebrate with money, I think have to do with more with themselves. And if you realize that you don't need as much as you think you do, then it starts coming to you somehow.
Dude, it's all. I love where this is all going. So tell me this then: what would you say is a major misconception? Because again, you know, right now our audience that everybody's tuned in right now, we got a ton of realtors. Obviously, love you guys, realtors. My sandbox for the past, my entire life, I guess we'd say. Realtors, mortgage brokers, entrepreneurs, salespeople. What would you say though is that one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about what it actually takes to say dominate in their arena, and we might even say focus on dominating real estate? Like what would you say people are just that they think it's one, but you believe or maybe have experienced it's another?
I'm super guilty of this because I show a certain persona on Luxe Listings.
Yep.
I promote a certain lifestyle. I wear certain clothes. And listen, I do live that lifestyle. I do wear those clothes, but not all the time.
Right.
Right. And it's not as easy and as glamorous as it looks like it is to the outside world. We only show as realtors the best things. We only show the best things on our social media. I remember I was at a Tony Robbins conference and he was saying when Facebook came out, people started comparing their lives to other people's lives. And when Instagram came out, we started comparing our lies to other people's lies. And I think we have a lot of that in the real estate industry, especially with agents that have come in kind of post-COVID.
Yep.
And they're focusing on these extravagant broker opens and driving the fanciest cars and wearing the suits. And then they're in rooms with other people like that. But the people who've been in the industry for a while, where are they? What are they doing? They're servicing their clients, which isn't as sexy. They're on the phones, which isn't sexy. They're crafting, new controls, new measures, new emails. The actual sexiness of real estate, I think, was kind of created in the last 10 years by all these TV shows.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, it's a job about connecting with people.
Yep.
And then servicing them. And that servicing part takes a lot of time, takes a lot of effort. It's monotonous. And it's no different than, If you play on a hockey team and you're out there skating and you don't want to be skating anymore, you got to keep skating. And then you have another practice that day and you're doing drills. People don't realize that about real estate. They think you get your fancy suit, you make $100K, you're off to the races. But I find that, in real estate, really the clouds are the limit for sure.
Yep.
But there's also no floor. And I think a lot of new agents spend so much to keep up with the Joneses, but there aren't even Joneses. They're keeping up with some version of themselves that they created that I think people don't really connect with anymore.
I'm glad that you said this. I think it's a breath of fresh air, and I'm sure there's a lot of people right now that are watching. And again, thank you everybody for tuning in live with us today. And if you're listening to the recording, thank you for that as well. But I do think a lot of people are listening to this with a breath of fresh air right now. So what was just said there, right? There's a lot of pomp and circumstance in this industry. It is not about the fancy car, the fancy suit. It's about the people that you help and how you help them. It's about the experience that you create when you're doing so. A lot of these folks too, there's a lot of people in this industry that are not doing the business right now.
That's right.
And they probably haven't achieved a level of success yet go around glorifying it. And I guess I would take a moment right here to say, and I talk about this a lot through our social channels. The hate that the industry or the people, the consumers have on the industry of real estate. And I try to stand up for us as an industry saying, look, there's a lot of amazing people in this industry doing some fantastic things. And to those that are doing so, continue to do so. For those that are doing it, just trying to show off, just trying to, again, the posturing, it's not helping anybody.
No.
It's not at all. And as we talk again today about how to dominate in real estate, we come back to this simple fact, which you've been saying for the past few minutes now. It's about the experience. It's about the service. It's about what you're doing for the people that you're dealing with.
That's right.
It's an important point you made.
For me, it's very important. And you talked about how we got the show.
Yeah. I
think that we are in a position where we're fairly balanced, where we've given back the community as much as we've taken from it. Mm-hmm. Right? It's very important to me that when we're doing deals and we're getting a lot of money and we're making things happen, that we are doing that to benefit the community. And an example of that is when we threw the Luxe Listings premiere party, we didn't throw it as a party just for us to talk about how sweet we are. We threw it as a community fundraiser for junior achievement. And we ended up raising $20,000.
Nice. Congratulations.
So we can help the further generation, the new generation of entrepreneurs with their endeavors, right? It's all about supporting the community so that they support you. And I find that a lot of people, because of what they see on TV and Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and at conferences, they create these larger than life real estate personas, and they're just not real.
No, they're not.
They're not real. Kind of like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. So as we're moving in, we're now in the back half of the year, which is, I don't know, disappointing to say. I feel like the summer's already coming to an end and we're just started July.
I agree.
Time moves fast these days, man. But where do you think we're going with the next rate announcement later this month?
No idea. So
for sure, I just nobody has the crystal ball.
I actually don't speak about rates at all because I'm not an economist. Cool. I'm not a mortgage broker. It's not something that I can speak on. What I can speak on is saying, hey, we're throwing a volleyball tournament for Camp Bucko, which is a charity for burn victims for children. As one of the guys on my team is a firefighter. So I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to bring this many people to this event, and that's how many people we're going to connect with, because people aren't moving because the rates are moving up and down. They're moving because personal circumstances. I can't affect the rates, but I can definitely bring people together. And the more people I bring together, regardless if the rates are going up or down, the more opportunity I'm going to have to service people in whatever market it is. So in short, I stay away from any rate conversations, market conversations. I have no more insight of what the rates are going to do than this cup of coffee. That's the truth.
I couldn't agree more, man. I couldn't agree more. And I'm with you on that too. I would say that anybody, look, to have the conversation is one thing. If you're not versed enough or don't even want to venture into it, not necessary. Mm-hmm. Much the same. I could tell you straight. This was a few months ago now, but I remember, I'd say a few months ago because I was on the driveway shoveling snow, and my neighbor was like, "So Dave, what do you think's going to happen with the rates?" And I straight up looked at him. I said, "Why, are you making a move?" He goes, "No, I'm just curious. Like, what do you think?" I said, "Then it doesn't matter." And that's a big part of it too, right? Is people are going to try to have the conversation for the sake of having it, and it's a topic of conversation. If you want to venture, go for it. Much the same though, I don't disagree with the mindset you got there.
But you right? Like that answer. I take, and that's like a learning point for realtors too. Instead of saying, "Hey, I think the rates are going to do this," it gives you an opportunity to talk about something else and plug in something where you're doing good. And if you're plugging in something where you're doing good for the community or giving back, that allows you to have a new touch point with someone and a reason to follow up with them, rather than just hey, the rates went down 0.25.
Yeah. Okay, so we look at that because we know we've got another announcement coming up in a few weeks. We know we have another one coming up in September. Based on what I'm hearing from you, I'm curious to know then, when you look at the year, okay, for you and your team, do you look ahead, let's say at this time right now, at the fall market and say, okay, guys, fall market is coming. We need to do A, B, C?
For sure.
Okay, so you're not just sitting there going, look, today's another day. We're going to go ahead. We are looking ahead to say, okay, we know another busy time supposedly in our industry is coming up. We hope we're doing some preparation.
We do two things.
Okay.
Number one, we only get 3 months of nice weather here, so I tell people to use that weather.
It's so frustrating, eh?
Yeah. I know a lot of offices close their doors or stop their meetings or do meetings every 2 weeks, whatever it may be in the summer period. We decided as a team to keep doing our Monday morning meetings, but we've condensed them. I don't want to hijack people's summers. I don't, right? I want people to go to Europe. I want people to go to their cottage. I want them to visit with their families. I want to go to every wedding I can go to. I want to support everybody. I want everyone to have a great time. But what you're doing today, what you're doing for the next 3 months is going to pay for the 3 months after that. I always say that. And this is a lesson that I can teach because when I was filming all last summer, I was like, you know what? The fall market's going to be great. I've been filming for 3 months. Everyone's going to think I'm so cool when I talk about it, and business is just going to fly in. Oh, that's not what happened. What happened was I missed 3 months of connecting with my clients and had to spend the next 3 months connecting so that our winter market could be good. And our Q1 was our team's best Q1 ever.
Congrats.
So, and if you take it even a little bit further, any conversation you have today as a realtor generally isn't going to pay for the next 18 months. And I always say that to agents. They're like, what's the shortcut to getting in, like being successful in real estate? And I say the shortcut is don't quit for your first 2 years.
Yep.
Your first 6 months, you're not going to have any idea what's going on. Your 6 months, you're going to think you know what's going on, and you'll realize at the end of your first year that nope, you didn't. And then 18 months after that, you'll start getting paid. So I think realistically, you got to be in the business for about 2.5 years before you start seeing results from it. That's the truth.
Okay. So here, I got to ask this then. How long did it take you to get your first deal?
So I was on a team when I first joined. I was on a guy named Chris Coveney's team in Ottawa. He's still a mentor of mine today.
Yeah.
And I got my first deal my first week. It was a conditional sale. And I remember it was the Royal LePage Real Estate Conference in Toronto. And I was all proud. I was telling everybody I did a deal. And he kept always saying, no, he has a conditional deal. It's a condition. Right?
But common rule number one right there when you're in sales, right? Don't count your chickens till the eggs.
That's it. And even to this day, if someone on my team is like, I have a sale, I said, no, you don't. You have a conditional sale.
Hey, did that first one close in the end?
Sorry?
Did the first one close in the end?
It did, yeah.
Okay, cool.
It did.
So now let me ask you this. What did you do to get that deal?
Amazing. An amazing story.
Yeah.
So I was part of something called Dream Mountains Foundation. So just so all the viewers,
this is another community involvement thing.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Just so everybody listening knows. So my team is built on 3 simple pillars: community, accountability, and charity. You need to be an outstanding community member within and outside of the team. You need to be accountable to making a business plan and following it. I'm not picking the goals. People, they're picking their own goals. Mm-hmm. And you have to be actively involved with charity. So years ago, I'm in Ottawa. I'm in this thing called Dream Mountains Foundation. We climbed a different mountain for charity every year.
Like actual mountains?
Yeah.
What mountains?
Everest Base Camp, Kilimanjaro.
You climb Mount Everest?
Just base camp, not the whole thing.
Okay, but still, that's cool.
Yeah, and we did it to raise money for charity, and one of the charities was Dreams Take Flight. And a woman calls me and says, "Hey, I want to see this. I want to see this condo townhouse." And it was a duty call, to the office.
Yeah,
I picked it up, and she's like, "You seem familiar to me," and I was like, "I don't know how." And she goes, "Are you part of Dreams Take Flight?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I raise money for them for charity, and that's where we take people who couldn't afford to go to Disneyland. They go to Disneyland for the day, or Disney World, sorry."
Yeah.
And she's like, "I just got back from my Dreams Take Flight." She was one of the mentors on it, and that's
so you guys just happened to connect.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's why she trusted me. That's cool. Because I was just a random guy opening a door. I barely knew how. Right. I didn't know if the alarm was going to go off. I didn't know, this is my first week in the industry. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And she connected with me on a charitable level. And I never told her she was my first client until about 10 years later.
Hey, she was a client in the end, right?
That's it. Her name's Virginia Gluska. I remember I brought her on stage at my Christmas party a couple of years ago, and I let her know in front of everybody she's my first client.
That is so cool. How many people on your team right now?
There's 18 of us on the team.
18?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm a partner at Rare. And I believe we have 86 agents at our office.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, in terms of, so this is your team. You've started the team. You got 18 people. Mm-hmm. I guess when I look at, marketing and I think this answers itself already, but I want to dive into it because part of building mind share very much is around, what do we do and actually get out there? I mean, you talk about raising money for charities, I could tell you, I could go down the list of different channels and say, how do we leverage those channels to get the word out? Mm-hmm. The reality is at the end of the day, we're putting a word out. People still need to take action.
That's right.
What are you seeing, just to be more specific in the marketing part of the conversation here, to help everybody tuned in? What are you seeing as your most effective marketing channels? Phone. Thank you. Now, hold on. I got to get clear, okay? Because we are on video right now, but there are people listening that, as this is show, he just held up his phone. But let's get specific here. Does holding up that phone mean going online, going on the internet, doing email, doing social media? Or does it mean picking up the phone and calling people, Brett?
Both. So
for sure, there's going to be an element of both.
It depends on the age.
Yep.
So I would say that the phone has really died with people under 27, 28.
Okay.
I find if you're calling them, it's for to let them know there's a natural disaster coming. Right? There is a tidal wave that's about to hit your house. That's why I'm calling you.
Outside of that, don't bother calling those people.
Yeah. So, but it's one-on-one messaging or calling or communication. Doesn't matter what platform you're on, whether it's a DM, whether it's a Facebook message, whether it's a text, WhatsApp, a call. It's one-on-one communication is the most effective. Your marketing allows people to say, "Oh, I know who you are," when you have a one-on-one conversation, but doesn't really get people coming to us. And I'll give you an example.
Yep.
And I'm not saying this to show off in any way. I'm just saying it as a matter of fact, is since the show's come out, I have over 2 million views on my Instagram.
Wow.
Right.
What does that mean? 2 million views just in total combined with all the stuff you've done?
Just people coming and looking at my Instagram page.
Cool. Yep.
Our team website gets about 60,000 hits a month.
Okay.
That's not where the business is coming from.
Okay. Talk to us over here.
That's not where it's coming from. You know where it's coming from? People from our past that are reconnecting with us saying, "Oh my God, I haven't talked to you in 10 years. Nice to see you on the show. My cousin's thinking about selling her place."
Okay, so hold on then. Would we say that when we, because this is a great jumping off point here, TV show, 2 million views on Instagram, 60,000 hits to a website on a monthly basis. Where's most of the business come from? People we know or people we don't know?
People, I find it's someone connected to your database that you don't necessarily have like direct access to them, but someone in your database has direct access to them.
So, but it's either repeat or it's referral business.
Correct.
It's not this. It's not necessarily, and not to say that none of them are coming, but it's not brand new leads.
No, it's not. So we've, of that 2 million that have gone through, we've generated, I think, 930 leads, which is mostly people just saying, hey, how much is my neighbor's house worth? Or, hey, I just wanted to say hi.
Yeah. Conversion rate on that stuff?
2%.
Okay.
Max.
So are you an online lead guy? Like, did you do the investment into that shit?
I have.
Okay. And tell us.
I have so that I can give it. So here's what I say.
Yep.
I say leads are fake. Leads are a myth. Everyone is searching for the Loch Ness lead.
Ooh, the Loch Ness lead.
It doesn't exist. It's not real. Everyone says, I want more leads. No, they don't. If I look at my team's database, including myself, so I'm not innocent of this.
Yep.
And I'm looking at if I'm given leads the same amount of time that I'm giving someone in my actual database or my sphere of influence, it's not even close. We want to talk to people who have been referred to us by our grandma because we know that deal is going to close, right? We know if our A+ mortgage broker who's given us 6 or 7 deals in the past is giving us a deal, this one's probably, they're getting our attention. SpiceGirl1234@gmail.com.
She's not real? She's not real?
She might not be real. And it's just, people spend so much time choosing fonts and color schemes and Adobe overlays and sounds and what their brand's going to feel like and what it's going to look like. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to say this out loud. I don't even know what font our logo is in. I don't know. Okay.
I would double that. Zero clue.
What I do know is that I ask everyone to ask for a testimonial or referral every day, which is why we have so many Google reviews.
Gold. Which we said, I think I read off the top, over 200.
That's right.
5-star
That's
reviews.
Marketing.
Yeah,
when you have community members saying, hey, these guys did a good job for us. That's marketing.
What's your thoughts then on picking a niche market as we talk about working the database? We talk, and I love that we just called out online leads because I think they're a bunch of bullshit. I mean,
online leads are a competitor industry with realtors. They're not our friends. They're our competitors. They're here to take our money.
Yeah, but I don't even believe all those. I mean, you just said it, Barbie Girl 123 or whatever you called it there. Like it's not real. But how many of these people can be out there?
And here's the thing. Do you think when these online lead companies, I'm sorry to all the online lead companies that are listening. I
don't agree with this stuff. I'm telling you straight. When
they're having their Monday morning meetings, are they saying, all right, here's what we got. We got these leads that are worth, we're saying they're worth 25 grand because, $1 million, their agent's going to make 25 grand from it. Let's sell to them for $40. Why would you sell something that's worth 25 grand for $40? Why wouldn't you just say, hey, I'm going to keep this one myself and then I'm going to give the other ones? And that's really how it works. And that's why I say leads are fake. Because if someone gets something where they think it's actually going to close, especially in this market, they're likely going to keep it for themselves. I'm sorry. They're not going to give it away.
And that's something that everybody should be paying attention to, especially when they join a team and or a brokerage, which is their number one value prop is they're going to send you leads. You make a very valid point there. So then what's the thought about picking out a niche market to focus on where we talk maybe sort of quote unquote farm area to prospect for new people?
Do it.
But get real people, know exactly where they physically reside, and you can go and meet them one-on-one.
Do it right now. Stop listening to the podcast. Go
outside. Whoa, Brett. Come on. We got some good stuff coming still, man.
Do it right now. So we do two different types of farming. We do geographic farming and we do demographic farming. Geographic farming is very effective. It's also very expensive. You have to do it for about 2 years consistently with a big budget before people stop and say, hey, aren't you that real estate guy? I'd love you to come check out my place, right? It does work, but you're in the mailbox, and you're in the mailbox with the likes of McDonald's and Walmart and Canadian Tire and all these huge players, TD Bank, Amex, and you're just a flyer with them. So it does work. You just need to invest in it. And if you don't have the money to invest in it, that's okay, because you should do demographic farming. And what I refer to demographic farming is a unique group of people that you have access to. So we built our demographic farm going after what we call Henrys.
Okay.
High earners, not rich yet.
Ooh. Where are these people?
Oh, that's a great question. You have to join the team.
Ah, okay. I'll send you a value prop right there.
Send an application. So what we're going after are people that have their first job where they're making, 6 figures, maybe higher 6 figures. We're going after people who have just sold, they had their starter condo. Now they're selling it and going into something else. We're getting 2 sales out of it, not just 1. And they're really connecting with other people like them, which are generally people that have a high level of accountability, a high level of community involvement, and are involved in some sort of charity, because that's probably how they got in that position in the first place. So that's how we connect with them.
Like that.
And we show a certain lifestyle that they connect with as well. You got to remember, we serve a lot in the downtown Toronto market. We also serve a lot in the 905. But when we're showing the downtown Toronto market, we're not selling a 575,000 or 575 square foot condo. We're selling the lifestyle of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
We're selling what you can be if you live here.
Listen, I just put out a video the other day about Red Bull, the drink.
Yeah.
Red Bull doesn't sell Red Bull.
No, they sell that amazing lifestyle, coolest marketing ever.
That's what it comes down to. They've created a lifestyle. Their whole thing is about, like, quote unquote, making cool shit happen.
That's
right.
That's
what they do. And because of that, they're attached to it. And so again, where I parallel that, if anybody's like, whoa, where did that come from? We're not selling the condo. We're selling the lifestyle.
We're selling the lifestyle. What's going to happen if you move here? Are you going to have, all of a sudden you just jump on the streetcar, you get to work in 10 minutes? Right. Now you have an extra 2 hours a day. Right. Now you can go to the gym for an hour. Now maybe you can start dating, find that person you've been looking for, right?
So tell me this then. In terms of, I like the fact that we brought up the farm, the demographic, the geographic. How much emphasis are you putting on your CRM in a day?
I just love that question so much. I am putting, and this is for my whole team, so much emphasis on our CRM. I only work out of my CRM.
Likewise.
I don't even have, so my workflow is very different than a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I only have whatever tab I'm working on open. So I might have MLS open, and I use Follow Up Boss. I don't say, is it the best or not the best? I don't know. But I use it because that's what I use. And that's what I get my team to use. And every conversation, everything we do is logged in Follow Up Boss, so that in 3 years, when client, let's say David calls me, I say, hey, David, how's little Jimmy's right arm? Is he still playing for the Toronto Marlins? He's doing great. Glad to hear. It allows you to have those conversations, because there's no way you're going to remember everything 3 years down the road.
No shot. So, and there's the play that a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't think about, you're not going to remember it all. Let the system remember it for you. Always plan that next follow-up. All of a sudden, I'm going to see Brett pops up in the CRM. Why am I calling Brett today? Well, let me look at the notes. Oh, I scheduled to call Brett today. Brett doesn't know I'm calling today, but I'm going to call Brett. Hey, Brett. And there you go. Have the conversation together.
You got it.
I got a jumping off point from the last call. And it's not about calling to get the deal.
No.
It's not about calling, hey, Brett, so are you ready yet? Do you want to sell now? No, okay. I'll try you back in a few months then. Thank you.
It's not that. Here's my point. We've been talking for 47 minutes today. Yep. We haven't talked about the real estate market.
See?
That's the point.
It's the conversation's powerful right now, and I hope everybody's taking some serious notes here. So now, as we talk CRM, then, are you a calendar guy, or do you just like fly by the seat of your pants?
Huge calendar guy. So
love it.
Anyone on my team, and it's probably annoying for them, but if you want,
they're sitting there nodding right now. Eh? They're like, they're listening. They're like, yeah, it is.
If you want to chat with me, I'm absolutely happy to do anything for anybody on my team as long as they schedule it in my calendar. And I use Calendly. My whole day, I look and I say, oh, here's what I have to do. I have all these rules made. So if there's a seller consultation, I always give myself 45 minutes at least to drive to it. My whole day is super organized so that I can serve other people better and do what I want to do at night.
I love this, bro. Okay, so here it is then.
Do you know Jocko Willink? He's a Navy SEAL motivational guy. He writes a couple books.
Oh, maybe.
He goes, discipline equals freedom. And
100%.
I love that.
100%. 100%. I had that conversation with somebody the other day. So I mean, I've got a time management problem because I can't I don't go golfing a few times a week. I'm like, buddy, I'm a master of time management. And the reality is I get more shit done in a day than most people do in a week.
For sure. And as
we choose where you want to put that time.
That's right. And time is fungible. People always forget that, right? If you're up till 1 a.m. and you're 11 p.m. till 1 a.m. is Netflix time, and then you're waking up a little bit later, let's take that Netflix time and put it in the morning between 7 and 9. Let's call that gym time. Take your dog for a nice walk, have a relaxing coffee, maybe read for 15 minutes, and then open your emails. I find a lot of people, the first thing they do in the morning, they wake up, whoosh, pull out the phones, check what happened on social media, check their emails, get that anxiety going. Get all stressed out. What I do, and this is a really good tip actually, and I started doing this about 6 months ago, is I don't sleep with my phone in my bedroom, and I have it on Do Not Disturb.
Good.
Right? And I'm not a super early riser. I don't go to the gym until 8. Right. So I wake up at 7:30. I have my nice cup of coffee. I hang out with my dog, and then I go to the gym at like 7:55. I walk over, and then I start my work day at 9.
Well, here I was gonna ask you that. Like, let's fly up in the sky in an air balloon together right now, and let's look down on what you do in a day. What would and this is giving everybody here that's again tuned in some insights here. What would we see in regards to where you spend most of your time? What would it look like to people there? And look, let's go back almost 47 minutes now when we talked about the goals and sort of brought that part up and said a lot of people go for the monetary. It's really not about that. It's so much more about helping and doing and the personal, which I'm completely in alignment with you on. So give us a sort of a glimpse of what that day looks like. Can you do that?
Yep. So 4-hour workday. Here it is.
Yes, sir.
So what I like to do.
4-hour workday.
4 hours. That's it.
Cool. Yep.
Because your clients, when they start taking your time from you, that's not your work day anymore. You're on their day.
Okay. All right. I see where you're going with this. Yeah. Keep going.
When you're sitting in traffic going for a showing that's a 20-minute showing, and you have to drive there 45 minutes each direction, and now it just took you 2 hours. That's not 2 hours of work. Don't kid yourself. That's 15 minutes of work, right? So you got to use that time.
Unless you're making phone calls, which you could be making. Because if you tell me you got no time to make your calls, and while you're driving, roll up the windows, turn down the music, and get on the phone. Or
listen to a podcast or an audio book. That's your time to learn.
Right? I'd say listen to the Mindshare podcast.
There you have it. So first thing I like to do, I go over my follow-up boss hot list. Right? Clients that have that I have to connect with that day that have something active going on or who have recently visited our website. Follow Up Boss sends me a list of them every morning. That's number one. Number two thing I do, I click through my active clients and make sure they're being serviced the way I said they were going to be serviced. Okay? So that's two things I do right off the bat. The third thing I do is I use School for our team's platform for our like communication. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's like, it's kind of like learning media instead of social media. I'll invite you to it after this so you can see it.
Yeah, cool.
So I have online courses there. It's how we communicate. It's how we have polls. I check School, and I make sure that I'm giving value to the team and to other people in our group in those communities. And then I message 3 agents, whether on the team or not, to see how I can provide value. My rule is act like you're someone's broker until you are. Okay. And then I check my secondary.
Hold on, sorry, Brett. Pause 1 second, guys. A few minutes ago, I asked him how many people on the team. He said 18. Notice what he just said now. Sorry, keep going.
No problem.
See if people are taking notes over here.
Yeah. So act like you're.
Because people always say, "How do I grow a team? How did you do that?"
Yeah. Act like you're a broker until you are.
Yep.
Give them a little bit of value. Help anybody along the way. Right. And eventually, you give enough value, they're going to say, "Hey, you're giving me more value than my current team or current brokerage. I'd love to have a conversation." Because I am not in any way the kind of guy that goes out to poach people from other teams or brokerages. We're all inbound. We're all inbound. I'll help you with any problem you have for sure. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to say, "Hey, you should join our team." In fact, I do the opposite. I say, "What's your favorite thing about your current team or brokerage?" And then I see if it's something awesome, I'm like, I'm going to see if I can take that and bring it into my team.
I like that.
And then the last thing I do before I get into my showings and my emails and all that stuff that becomes monotonous is I check my secondary messages because I find there's always little nuggets of gold in there, right? Your
secondary being such as what?
Such your DMs, your DM requests, your Facebook messages that you never look at, your WhatsApp groups that maybe you never look at, a WhatsApp group that you never. I find that when you do look, there's always something there. So, and that's my daily flow, and then whatever else happens.
Gotcha. And then are the evenings usually spent doing a lot of socializing?
Yeah. So I try to go to, and this is going to sound crazy to a lot of people here, I try to go to 4 or 5 networking events a week.
Oof.
And I consider that my work day.
And how do you find these events?
Eventually they start finding you.
Fair.
But it's through your community. It's through the people you already have in your phone. And they've probably invited you to them in the past. And when you say no a couple of times, they stop. We want to make sure that they're inviting us. So what I like to do is I say yes to as many things as I can. So for example, tonight I'm going to the Fly Me to the Moon premiere party. It is what it is.
Enjoy it.
That's where I'm heading.
Enjoy it, bro.
Right.
So is there a big secret, a big magic pill that no one knows about that you have found in this industry to be successful?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. There's a super magic pill.
Yeah. What is it?
And it's this question. Would you buy or sell real estate from yourself? Would you use yourself as your own agent? Yes or no? Actually, based on your habits, based on your level of education, based on your influence, based on your skill set, would you use yourself as an agent? And if you can get that answer to yes, other people are going to use you too.
I didn't expect that answer.
That's the answer.
I didn't expect that.
Well,
so, okay, if you could start the business all over again, square one, knowing what you know now, would you change anything so you could dominate even more?
What would I change to dominate it even more? You know what? And I'm not saying that other people have it easier than us. Mm-hmm. It's very hard to sell in a marketplace where you can't put a sign down. So when you're my office is right on King Street downtown, but any of our market share is on the internet. People need to see us on the internet. I would like to, if I started all over again, I would start in a community where I could have physical signs in the ground, because those for sale signs and those sold signs are just such incredible marketing. And almost every time that we probably a third of our business is freehold, and probably 2/3 of our business is condos.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 in 3 times we sell a condo, someone will say, hey, I saw you sold a condo in our building, we'd like to sell. But almost every time we have a sold sign in front of a house, someone reaches out to us. So that would be one thing I would switch if I could do it all over again.
I like that, bro. So we spent a lot of time today, obviously, again, talking about how to dominate in real estate. And gotta tell you, it's been a real fresh, enlightening conversation. I like the mindset. I love the message that you delivered here. I think for everybody tuned in, again, as always, I tell you guys, always take notes, because you're just getting a ton of amazing substance from some awesome people. Brett, I really like the attitude that you bring to this game. And listen, dude, I've been, professionally doing this for about 2 decades in this sandbox. I grew up in it though for the past 4, with my father being in it, when I was young. I've watched some of the best build their businesses well before social media, the internet, cell phones, you name it. And what I do believe is true is that a lot of those old school tactics are still exactly what works today. Hence, as you held up your phone when I said, what's your best marketing channel? And you were basically saying, hey, 1-to-1 communication.
For sure.
And that's something that has never, ever changed. And we can see that that's obviously what's brought you a ton of success out there. And I congratulate you in a massive way. As we just, did the whole hot air balloon, look down on the biz, everything else, you've now gone through your day. It's the end of your day. How do you know it's been a successful day for you?
How do I know it's been a successful day for me? If I'm excited to get up the next morning. I find that I'm always unfinished. There's always something where I'm like, oh, I get these ideas always at like 11 or 12. And I'll email myself the idea. Taylor, my ops manager, sees my emails and she's probably like, what is this guy doing?
Buddy, trust me, Leanne, I'll tell you the same thing.
She once messaged me. Actually, she called me. She called me at like 11:30. I'm like, is everything okay? And she's like, Brett, I think it's time for you to stop working and start watching Friends on TV. Just put on Friends for a bit, right? But if I'm excited for the next morning, that's when I've had a successful day.
Like that, man. Brett, some final words of wisdom to help everybody get out there, build some more mind share to get more market share. What would you say to everybody? And where can they find you?
First of all, you can find me on Instagram. I'm more of an Instagram guy than anything else. Just my name, Brett Starke. There's an E on the end of Starke.
Yep.
My advice is whatever you're working on, whether it's real estate, your body, your health, your mental health, and education, don't quit. Whatever you want is on the other side of quitting. It's that simple.
Powerful, my friend. Brett, thank you. Thank you for making the time to join us on the MindShare podcast today. Again, a fresh, enlightening conversation. I think the message was spot on, my man. And, it comes as no surprise to me why you and your team are doing so well out there. I love the mindset, brother, and I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck moving forward.
I really appreciate that. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you, man. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back with you. To everybody else, I want to thank you guys all for tuning in today. As always, you're either listening to this on one of your favorite podcast platforms. Maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. Do not forget to leave a review of this podcast. Again, we make this super simple for you. Go over to www.ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. If you're a regular listener and you have not taken the opportunity to do that yet, I want to ask you, please take an opportunity. And of course, if you're a brand new listener, again, whether it's on iTunes, it's on Spotify, or any platform you listen to, we love reviews. We love hearing about all the good news and who's tuning in. If we haven't yet, let's connect on Facebook and on TikTok at Mindshare 101 and on Instagram at David Greenspan 101. Just before we sign off, I want to take a quick moment to say thank you. Big thank you to Kids Keep in Touch Systems, REM Magazine, OREA, the Ontario Real Estate Association, and the ORCF, the Ontario Realtors Care Foundation, for sponsoring the Mindshare podcast. This has been another episode of the Mindshare podcast. Now it's time for you to go check out the details of our upcoming Mindshare Mastermind so that you and I can meet in person this fall in September here in Toronto. Thank you for tuning in.